Have you ever wondered why your desires feel so close, just a whisper away, yet seem to drift further with every waking effort? What if the doorway to receiving everything you asked for wasn't through action, but through what you do before you sleep? Right before sleep, when your body is heavy and your mind drifts between the world you see and the one you imagine, you are standing at the edge of creation. That moment, delicate, quiet, and invisible to the outside world, is the most powerful portal you possess. What you do here matters more than anything you say or strive for during the day. In this sacred threshold, ask the universe with your feeling, not your words. Let your assumption be your command. The world tells you to hustle, to grind, to plan, but the universe listens to only one thing: the state you fall asleep in. This state, impregnated with your dominant feeling, is the blueprint for tomorrow. You are not asleep to escape the world, you are asleep to design it. The law of assumption works not when you want something, but when you become something. So, tonight, don't go to bed thinking of your problems. Go to bed as if you already have the solution. Ask by being, have by knowing. The universe doesn't speak English, it speaks your vibration. Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled and the law will fulfill it for you. This is not magic. It is a law, just as sure as gravity. You are the operant power. What you accept as true will become your experience. So before sleep, accept your desire as already real and let the universe take over from there. You do not need to beg. You only need to feel that it's done. Sleep is the gateway to the subconscious and the divine imagination. You must fall asleep in the assumption of the wish fulfilled. Asking the universe means embodying the end result in feeling. The subconscious mind reprograms itself through repeated nightly states. Imagination, not effort, builds the bridge of incidents. When you lie down and the world begins to fade, your conscious mind loosens its grip and the subconscious becomes receptive. This is the golden moment where suggestion is most potent. The bridge between the outer and the inner world softens, and what you believe here sinks in deeply. The universe doesn't react to your daytime logic. It mirrors your nighttime identity. You are not asleep. You are entering the workshop of reality. Imagine vividly. Let the image become alive. Your room may be dark, but within you are placing orders for your future. Do not drift off to sleep as the one who wishes. That only affirms distance. Drift off as the one who already is. You must feel yourself into possession, into love, into wealth, into peace. Your subconscious does not argue, it accepts. And if you present a new state again and again, night after night, it must conform. You are not trying to trick the world. You are speaking in the only language it listens to: conviction. The repetition of this state forms the mold into which all things flow. There is no power greater than this moment, no act more important than your final thought. When you ask the universe, don't plead, don't explain why you need it. Instead, ask by feeling its completion. If you want love, sleep with the glow of being adored. If you want abundance, feel the satisfaction of security. If you want health, feel the joy of vitality. That feeling, that sacred inner atmosphere, is your true prayer. You cannot deceive this power, but once you genuinely feel it, you no longer need proof. You become the proof, and life mirrors you accordingly. The universe never delays. It simply waits until your feeling matches your desire. Every night, the thoughts you entertain before sleep are downloaded into your subconscious and played out in your waking life. Like a seed planted in fertile soil, these impressions take root and grow. Do not waste this hour with doubt or worry. Use it as a ritual. Construct a scene, a short, vivid moment that implies your desire is real. Replay it gently, feel it with joy, fall asleep inside it. One night may not change everything, but persistence will. As the state becomes natural, reality bends to make it visible. Sleep becomes your most powerful tool. You do not need to figure out how. You are not the architect of external events. Your only task is to hold the end state so faithfully that it becomes self-evident. Once imagined clearly and felt deeply, unseen forces will begin to organize, arrange, and orchestrate everything needed to bring it about. People will appear, circumstances will shift, the logic will come after the manifestation. But it will all look like coincidence to those who never dared to imagine. Remember, you are not a beggar in the universe. You are the creative center of it. Ask by becoming, have by believing. Before sleep, assume it's already yours. As night falls and the noise of the world dies down, there comes a moment of power that most ignore. This moment, just before sleep, is where the door between the conscious and the subconscious stands wide open. Here, in this quiet surrender of thought and resistance, your creative power awaits instruction. Most enter sleep as victims of their day, nursing wounds, doubt, disappointments, or regrets. But those who understand this sacred interval, who use it deliberately, awaken to a life transformed. For what you impress upon your subconscious at the threshold of sleep becomes the essence of your tomorrow. For your tomorrow, there is a reason your last thought of the night becomes the seed of your future. The conscious mind, with all its logic and reason, yields control at this hour. It loosens its grip and fades. The body becomes still, the breath slows, and in this gentle drifting lies the secret. The subconscious becomes fully impressionable, like soft clay. It takes on the shape of your inner experience. It is not reasoned with. It is simply imprinted. And once it is imprinted, it works day and night to make it fact. Sleep is not escape. It is creation. You are never more powerful than in the stillness just before surrendering to rest. Consider this. All day long you think, worry, desire, and react. You send out signals, make choices, repeat patterns. But your real programming, the one that shapes the world around you, does not occur in those frantic thoughts. It occurs when your conscious guard is down and the truth of your self-concept seeps deeply into the subconscious. That truth is accepted without resistance. So when you drift to sleep, assuming you are unwanted, you sow rejection. When you fall asleep defeated, you nourish limitation. But if you fall asleep embraced by the feeling of fulfillment, success, love, peace, then these become your foundation, your base code, your unconscious operating system. To use this power, you must not approach sleep as routine, but as a sacred rite. Prepare for it as you would for a meeting with the divine, because that is exactly what it is. As you lay your head, do not replay the drama of the day. Do not revisit arguments, worries, or what's missing. Instead, select the feeling you most wish to embody. Let it rise in you. Let it take the form of a short scene, a moment of joy, accomplishment, union, wealth, freedom. Feel it so vividly that your body relaxes in its satisfaction. Then surrender into it. Sleep in that feeling, not as a wish, but as a possession. You see, the universe doesn't respond to hope. It doesn't answer prayer born of fear or lack. It responds to states of being. The subconscious mind takes your feeling as fact. It is literal. It cannot distinguish between what is real and what is vividly imagined and emotionally accepted. And so, if you create an inner world before sleep that matches the outcome you desire, the subconscious begins to recreate that world in the external, not by miracles, but by law. Invisible threads start to pull events, people, and circumstances together. You wake up and things feel different. Then something shifts, and without knowing how, you are inside the very thing you imagined. But if you fall asleep believing you are still the one who lacks, then that belief crystallizes into experience. That is why you must become the person who already has it. Before you see it, you must make the feeling of having it your new normal. And there is no better time to do this than before sleep. It is your highest leverage point. The moment when your inner word becomes a command to your reality. Do not underestimate the simplicity of this. The mind wants complex strategies, rituals, and effort, but truth is always simple. You are the gardener of your life, and each night you plant seeds in the soil of your mind. What grows depends on what you plant and how often you nurture it. Let your final thought of the night be the seed of your desired state. Make it rich in feeling. Make it clear. Make it yours. Let the vision become your lullaby, not a distant dream, but a present possession. Feel it as if no other reality exists. This is not delusion, this is creation. Creation does not begin in the world. It begins in the inner silence, in the feeling of the real. So tonight, do not just drift into unconsciousness. Use it, command it, program it. Close your eyes and walk into the life you want. Then fall asleep as if you've never left it. The great tragedy of human desire is not that it goes unfulfilled, but that it is approached from a place of lack. People plead for what they want while embodying the very feeling of its absence. And yet, the secret is simple and silent. Before sleep takes you, you must become the one who already has it. You must not just wish for what you desire, you must become it in feeling. The mind does not manifest through words. It manifests through belief, through inner identity, through the quiet state you dwell in when all distractions fall away and you are alone with your imagination. Every night the world shuts down, the senses retreat, and in that sacred descent into sleep, the mind becomes fertile. This is your moment. It is here that you must make the most critical shift. You must move from longing to possession, from asking to assuming. You must occupy the end, not visit it like a tourist, but live in it as a resident. If you desire love, you must not fall asleep feeling lonely and incomplete. You must feel the warmth of arms around you, the joy of being chosen, the comfort of belonging. If you desire wealth, you must not replay bills or burdens. You must feel the peace of financial freedom, the ease of provision, the confidence of security. The feeling of already having it is the only thing that creates it. This is not imagination for entertainment. This is imagination for transformation. The law responds to your emotional signature. It does not listen to your logic or your pleas. It tunes to your frequency, and the frequency you hold at the edge of sleep becomes the command center of your life. You are not judged by the world for what you want. You are met by the world at the level of who you believe you are. So, every night before you drift into unconsciousness, decide who you are, not who you wish to be, who you are, and feel it, not lightly, not casually. Feel it with every cell. Let the desire become so natural that it no longer feels like a dream. It feels like home. Most people fall asleep rehearsing their defeats. They replay the conversation that went wrong, the opportunity that didn't come, the fear that tomorrow will be like yesterday. And the subconscious, obedient and unbiased, accepts these impressions and sets to work producing more of the same. But when you change the internal script and assume a different outcome, not tomorrow, but now, you rewire the blueprint of your life. You are not denying facts. You are creating new ones. You are not ignoring reality. You are giving birth to a higher one. When you go to bed, you must ask yourself, if it were already mine, how would I feel? That question is the doorway. The answer is the key. Let that feeling rise, not forced, but allowed. It may begin as a flicker, a quiet joy, a breath of peace, a gentle knowing, but stay with it, amplify it, let it flood your chest, let it soften your body, let it replace all tension with a calm expectation. Then drift into sleep, not as the seeker, but as the satisfied, not as the beggar, but as the blessed. Because in this law, feeling is the foundation. All things rest on it. If you have ever fallen asleep worrying, you know the heaviness that lingers the next morning. But imagine instead falling asleep fulfilled. Imagine the joy of waking up, still wrapped in the feeling that it is done, that you are already it, that the problem has been resolved, the door has opened, the miracle is in motion. This is not a fantasy. It is the law made flesh. The world rearranges itself to reflect your internal assumptions. The bridge of incidents will form. People will shift. Circumstances will align. But none of this happens until the inner shift occurs. And it happens most effortlessly when the outer mind surrenders. In sleep, This is why the final 5 minutes of your night matter more than the 50 hours of your week. What you feel in those moments writes the script. Do not waste it on doubt. Do not let sleep carry you into a state of need. Instead, enter it clothed in the joy of answered prayer. Let your final act be the rehearsal of your desire as fulfilled. Let your final thought be the feeling of gratitude for what has already come. Let your final breath be drawn in peace, knowing you have already received. The universe does not hear what you say. It echoes what you feel. What you declare with your lips means nothing if your inner state contradicts it. To ask the universe is not to beg, plead, or explain. It is not a verbal act. It is not about need. It is about alignment. You ask by becoming. You receive by embodying. And what you embody in consciousness, especially in the stillness of your heart, must outpicture itself in the world around you. This is the fundamental truth, ignored by many who believe they are manifesting, when in truth they are only desiring without transformation. To ask the universe correctly is to close the gap between wanting and having. Wanting affirms absence, but embodiment affirms completion. And it is only when you feel the end as real, only when you walk in the assumption of it already being done, that the universe mirrors it back to you. This is why mere affirmations, if spoken without conviction, fall flat. This is why vision boards, when not supported by inner belief, become decorative. Because the power is not in the image nor in the world. It is in the state. The state of being is your true prayer. When you say, I want to be rich, the universe hears, I am poor. When you say, I hope they love me, the vibration is, I am not loved. The language of creation is vibration, and vibration is the offspring of feeling. So to ask rightly, you must generate the feeling that it is already yours, not tomorrow, now. That is the true language of asking, not with your mind, but with your being. The feeling must become natural. It must take root in your subconscious and blossom as your identity. There is a vast difference between wishing and assuming. Wishing keeps your desire in the realm of fantasy. Assuming brings it into the atmosphere of fact. To assume is to accept something as true now. And the moment you do, you begin to live from it. Your thoughts shift. Your reactions change. Your posture aligns. And without trying, you begin to attract and allow that which already feels familiar. You are no longer chasing it. You are reflecting it. This is the divine act of asking. It is an inner movement, a rearrangement of self-perception. To ask is to re-identify, to say without words, this is who I am now. And once you claim it in feeling, the world rearranges to confirm it. You do not need to explain how. The mind cannot comprehend the path anyway. The bridge of incidents is not yours to design. It will appear on its own. What is yours is the state. What is yours is the decision to live in the end, to accept the invisible as your current reality, and to trust that it will be made visible in time. You must become so saturated with the feeling of having that your nervous system no longer doubts, that your inner conversations align with success, that your self-talk supports your new story, that your imagination no longer replaces what is missing, but rehearses what is received. This is how you ask. You build the inner atmosphere and let the outer world reflect it back. You are not commanding the universe to act. You are inviting it to respond. What you see in the world is nothing more than crystallized assumptions. You believe something to be true, and the world arranges itself to support that belief. This is not mysticism. This is law. And the law cannot be fooled by words or effort. It only responds to essence. It only mirrors your inner convictions. So if you want to change your world, you must first change the state from which you ask. Do not ask from desperation. Ask from knowing. Knowing that it is done, that you are it, that you lack nothing. This feeling of completion is not something you force. It is something you nurture. You return to it day after day, night after night, especially before sleep. You become so familiar with the end that it begins to feel like home. And when it does, you have truly asked. You have submitted your order, not through anxiety, but through certainty, through peace, through embodiment. So next time you think of asking for something, pause and ask yourself, If it were already mine, how would I feel? Then step into that feeling. Let it rise in you. Let it replace all questions with knowing. Let it dissolve all doubts with peace. And carry that feeling like a seed into your sleep, into your day, into your identity. That is how you ask. That is how you receive. There is no neutral moment before sleep. Each night, as you descend into unconsciousness, you enter the sacred workshop of reality. The world may call it rest, but in truth, it is a time of construction, a place where your subconscious, unguarded by reason, begins to mold your assumptions into form. It receives the impressions you offer and accepts them without judgment. It does not ask whether the image is true or false, good or bad, desired or feared. It only knows consistency. It only knows repetition. And what is repeated, especially in the quiet rituals of night, becomes your life. The great power of this law is not found in effort, but in rhythm. The rhythm of assumption repeated until it feels natural. The rhythm of feeling replayed until it feels real. When you bring an idea before the subconscious mind over and over, night after night, you are not hoping. It is far more than that. You are sowing. And what is sown must grow. But the field in which you plant is your own self-concept. The soil is the emotional state you rest in. The seed is the scene you rehearse. And sleep is the silence in which it takes root. Most people unknowingly program their minds for lack, failure, rejection, and limitation, not because they want to, but because they allow their final thoughts of the day to drift unconsciously into complaint, regret, or anxiety. They believe that because the outer world looks a certain way, they must react to it in fear or frustration. But in doing so, they fail to recognize the one truth that governs all others. The outer world is but a mirror, a shadow of the inner one. And that mirror reflects not what you say, but what you consistently feel to be true. This is why repetition is not just useful, it is the law's language. You do not program your reality once with a single visualization or affirmation. You mold it over time by revisiting the desired end again and again until the subconscious accepts it as your dominant state. It is not the intensity of the image that changes your life. It is the consistency. Even the most modest assumption, repeated until it feels like identity, will eclipse 100 wishes made without faith. Each night before sleep, you are offered a divine opportunity to impress upon your subconscious a new story. Not a story of what has been, but of what is now real in imagination. The body grows still. The senses withdraw. The external world loses its grip. And in that liminal space between waking and sleeping, the subconscious listens with open ears. Whatever feeling you bring to it, whatever mental picture you cradle in those final minutes, becomes the seed of tomorrow's experience. There is no delay in its response, only the time it takes for you to sustain the assumption long enough for it to bear fruit. You must therefore treat your nightly state as sacred, not casual, not routine, sacred. It is not the repetition of words that holds power, but the repetition of the state itself. Let your final feeling before sleep be the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Let your final image be the evidence that it is so. Replay a simple scene, one that implies the desire is already accomplished. Keep it brief, vivid, and filled with emotion, and then drift into sleep while holding it gently, like a precious vision. This is not a trick. This is the technique of creation. If you understood that your entire reality arises from the state you sleep in, you would never again fall asleep in worry or self-pity. You would never again use your imagination against yourself. You would guard the gateway to your subconscious with reverence, because everything you experience externally has first been permitted internally. And the nightly repetition of feeling is the tool by which the subconscious is reprogrammed, not forcefully, but faithfully. You are not demanding change. You are inviting it. It is said that the subconscious is impersonal, obedient, and always active. It does not create with intention. It creates with impression. What you impress upon it through feeling, it accepts as law. And the more often you impress it with the same assumption, the deeper it goes, until one day, without effort or fanfare, the world begins to echo your inner change. People respond differently. Opportunities open, circumstances shift, and you realize that reality has bent to match your nightly rituals. This is the mystery behind transformation. You do not need to fight the old story. You do not need to resist what has been. You need only choose a new state, feel it fully, and repeat it consistently, night after night, until your subconscious no longer knows the difference between what was imagined and what was seen. And in that moment, what was once internal becomes external. What was once invisible becomes undeniable, because the subconscious cannot hold conflicting ideas for long. The one you repeat most becomes your life. There is a misunderstanding that effort and struggle bring about change. The world teaches us to labor, to push, to strive with all our might, believing that the path to our desires is paved with hardship and endurance. Yet the truth is far more elegant, far more profound. It is imagination, not effort, that builds the bridge of incidence. Imagination is the invisible architect of reality. It is the divine power within, shaping every moment, every meeting, every opportunity, and every event. What you imagine with feeling, what you accept as true in the deepest part of you, inevitably shapes your external experience. Effort without imagination is like a ship without a rudder, moving but aimless, exhausting but unproductive. Imagination is the rudder, the map, and the wind that guides the ship to its destination. When you labor, but your inner state does not align with your desire, the world remains unchanged. But when you imagine with conviction, when you live from the end, your inner world reorganizes the outer one to meet it. This is the bridge of incidence, the series of events and encounters that appear naturally and effortlessly, connecting you to your fulfilled desire. The bridge is not constructed by physical action alone, but by the invisible thread of your assumptions. These assumptions are woven through your imagination, spun in the loom of feeling. They are not guesses or hopes, but the firm convictions of your being. Each vivid scene you create in your mind, each moment you replay with feeling, is a brick in this bridge. The bridge appears in your reality as synchronicities, chance meetings, opportunities knocking at your door, and solutions emerging where there seemed none before. To imagine properly is to see yourself in the desired state so clearly and feel so deeply that the outer world cannot help but respond. It is to occupy the mental space of fulfillment and remain there regardless of what the senses say. The senses may show lack, delay, or denial, but the imagination knows the truth. It is done. It is yours. Holding this truth steady in imagination, especially before sleep when the subconscious is most receptive, lays the foundation for the bridge of incidence to materialize. The key to this process is faith in your inner vision over the evidence of the senses. The senses speak of time, space, and limitation. Imagination speaks of eternity, unity, and unlimited possibility. When these two are in conflict, it is the imagination that must reign, because the imagination is the source of all creation. Without it, the world remains static, unchanged, and bound by the old patterns. With it, new worlds are born. You are the creator, not the victim. Effort is the habit of the outer world. Imagination is the law of the inner world. The outer world will not budge until the inner world moves first. Therefore, you do not need to exhaust yourself chasing circumstances. You need to exhaust yourself in the theater of your mind, rehearsing the scenes of your fulfilled desires with feeling, clarity, and consistency. The bridge you seek is invisible to those who rely solely on physical action, but it is no less real. It is the spiritual mechanism through which all things are brought into form. This principle explains why some achieve their desires seemingly without struggle. They do not fight the current. They align with the flow. They are not constantly doing, but being the person who already has what they want. They imagine a bridge so strong and vivid that the world must conform. They imagine the end result so powerfully that every step, every coincidence, every meeting falls perfectly into place. This is not luck or chance. It is the law of imagination. If you want to build this bridge, you must cultivate your imagination daily. Treat it as your most valuable asset. Feed it with rich emotional scenes that reflect your fulfilled desires. See yourself living the life you want, not in a distant future, but now. Feel the satisfaction, the relief, the joy as though you are already there. This is the creative act. This is how you build the foundation upon which the bridge will rise. Effort and action still have their place, but they must come after the imagination has done its work. Action inspired by imagination moves with purpose and ease. Action driven by desperation leads only to frustration. The bridge of incidents will carry you effortlessly when you have imagined your desire fully. It will bring people, circumstances, and opportunities that align with your new state. It will make the impossible possible. The world is built on imagination. Every invention, every relationship, every success story began in the mind of someone who dared to see it before it was seen. You are no different. Your imagination is the seed, the soil, and the sunlight. Nurture it well. Use it consciously. Build your bridge of incidents with clarity and faith. Trust that what you imagine with feeling will find its way into your life. This is your true power. Everything you seek begins within the sacred chamber of your imagination. The quiet moments before sleep are not empty hours. They are your greatest opportunity to shape reality. When you fall asleep embodying the end, living in the feeling of your fulfilled desire, you send an unshakable command to the unseen forces that govern your life. The subconscious, ever obedient, accepts this state as truth and begins to orchestrate your world accordingly. Remember, it is not effort or struggle that builds your bridge to manifestation. It is the unwavering conviction in your inner world. Through repetition, feeling, and assumption, you reprogram the unseen to bring forth the seen. You become the author of your destiny, not by forcing circumstances, but by living in the reality you wish to experience. So guard your final thoughts. Make your last feelings those of victory, peace, and fulfillment. Trust that the universe is responding. Not tomorrow, not someday, but now. You are not asking from lack. You are asking from abundance. You are not pleading. You are commanding by being. And in this knowing, all things become possible. Your life is the mirror of your imagination. Choose well what you reflect. Live from the end, ask the universe, by becoming it. And watch as the unseen aligns with your vision. The power is yours. Rest in it, believe it, and it is done.